Verbal malfunctions gone viral on YouTube, vexing the candidate. It happens more and more in US elections. Just ask Mitt Romney. After saying to a private meeting of fundraisers that 47% of Americans are victims dependent on government who don't pay any income tax, Romney has been licking his self-inflicted wounds. And one Barack Obama has been busy pouring salt in them. Last night on the David Letterman show, he said that the president, any president, needed to work for all Americans.
My expectation is that if you want to be president, you got to work for everybody, not just for some. And I promise you, there are not a lot of people out there who think they're victims. There are not a lot of people who think that they're entitled to something. What I think the majority of people, Democrats and Republicans, believe is that we've got some obligations to each other, and there's nothing wrong with us giving each other a helping hand.
So how much trouble is Mitt Romney really in? Well, a little earlier I spoke to Tony Blair's former chief spinmeister, Alastair Campbell. We're in an episode of The West Wing, and you're sitting at home rereading your memoirs, perhaps, and the call comes from the Romney campaign. Alastair Campbell, we need you over here on this side of the pond to fix Mitt Romney. You get parachuted in, what would you do?
I think somebody's got to sit down with him and just say, look, you can't blame others for what's going on here. The problem is a lack of your clear strategy. And I think his tragedy, in a way, is that as governor of Massachusetts, he was a fairly liberal, fairly benign Republican in many ways. And what's happened is, because of the whole Tea Party thing, he's moved to the right to get the nomination. And now he realises he's got to kind of go into a slightly different place to get those members of the public that he needs. What he should do is stop worrying about his party. He's not going to be short of cash going forward now. And he's got to focus on those people that he needs to vote for him. And I think it's probably too late.
Do you then think, actually, it's the candidate's character that is a problem here? Or is it that he's been ill-advised so far?
I don't think you can ever do this ill-advised thing. He was standing up, it came out of his mouth. And he was speaking to an audience. OK, he thought it was private, but one of the golden rules of a campaign, particularly at that level, is nothing you say is private. You can just about probably trust your wife. You can just about probably trust 2 or 3 people right close in.
It's not the first time. I mean, this is a character pattern that's built up.
Well, I think that's the problem. I think what it does is it constantly puts you on the back foot. And that's what's happened to Romney. He's constantly having to go out and explain something that he has said or he has done. And so his big message is not getting through. And the reason for that is because his big message isn't clear. He got elected because of this balmy Tea Party, this balmy Fox News. Only somebody who came across as being very right-wing would get elected. He had to trim his sails. He's now trying to be more centrist, and it's just all kind of falling apart for him.
Tell us what you really think, Alastair. So finally, with your experience, what is the one ingredient, the one magic ingredient that any politician, whether they're running for Prime Minister or for President of the USA, has to have in order to win?
They've got to have... They've obviously got to have a sense of themselves which communicates itself to the public as a leader. And I think with what Romney communicates is somebody who looks the part, but he's communicating doubts about himself to everyone else. And that's a pretty difficult place to be. And once you've lost competence and niceness, it's very hard to get back.